Good morning, everybody. We are back. It is the right side of campus. We are live here on a Monday, September 24th, 2018, week four college football, week three NFL. Just about finished. We got one more game tonight. We'll get into that and more. Recap the weekend we had in sports and a big announcement as well. We're looking forward to talking about at the end of the show. Donnie Rightside, how you doing today?
Doing good today, Jeff. And you know what's funny, Jeff? When I want to say the changing of the seasons, but the different betting markets that we work in, right? The NFL, college basketball, college football, baseball, NBA, whatever it is that you bet out there. I get the same thing over and over and over. Like if I bet college football, right? And you watch the games, you're like, oh my God, college football is just wild. There's so many fumbles, there's so many changes, so many momentum changes. I can't believe it. Then you wait 24 hours and you see the NFL, and it's another roller coaster ride where you say, this is the craziest sport out there. It's so hard to bet. You never know to the last minute. And then you roll it over to college basketball and you say the same exact thing, Jeff. How is it possible to make a living out of this and still be alive after the age of 50? It's a wild ride, man.
Not sure. I haven't gotten there yet. We'll see if
Neither have
I
I.
do. Uh, yeah, we'll see. If I get there, I hope I do. You know, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a tough one sometimes. Got to you got to keep pushing forward, Donnie. That's why you don't lament the losses. You don't lament the wins. You just try to stay even keel. But it's difficult to do because it's difficult. Donnie, before we get started, I'd like to wish my beautiful sister happy birthday. My sister, who, Donnie, I feel like I've had her on here once or twice before. She's 27 today. So I say happy birthday to you. Yeah,
Salute.
Donnie,
Yeah.
everybody gets older,
Yeah.
But let's get into the show here. We got, like I said, an announcement. We'll get to that at the end of the show, so we'll make you all wait in suspense. But
There's
we're
one guy
excited
out there
about it.
that there's one guy out there, Jeff, that knows about it real quick and played a really funny video for me yesterday, DM, which I'm sure the same guy
Yeah,
out there probably will be listening today towards the show, and you got the same thing. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool stuff.
yeah. Listen, we're excited about it. I mean, it's something that I think everyone can get involved with, and it's something that I think it'll be great for all of us. So yeah, looking forward to that. We'll get to that at the end of the show. But we do want to get into some headlines here this morning, and thought we first want to say goodbye to a legend. Hawk Harrelson did his last game yesterday for the Chicago White Sox. And look, if you don't know who Hawk is, you definitely heard his calls. He's the guy that has Donnie. I mean, over the years, you can't get a more homerish announcer than Hawk Harrelson. But um, for me, look, Hawk is a guy that I kind of try to. I'm never going to be a play-by-play guy, but if I was, it would probably be like him. He was always very. He didn't take any shit. If an ump wasn't good, he told you. He was very homerish for Chicago White Sox, but he was an interesting guy, Donnie Hawk Harrelson. And you see his last game yesterday. It was quite emotional for him. It always sucks to see someone have to leave something that they love. We saw it with the guy out in the Dodgers announcer,
Vin Scully.
Vin Scully, yeah.
Scully.
And you see it yesterday with Hawk as well. Hawk was always interesting with his calls, but Donnie, an interesting guy though. I mean, he played baseball. He was a baseball player. He played in the British Open in 1972 and missed the cut by one stroke. How about that, Donnie? But
No,
yeah,
yeah,
I
no.
mean,
I look, and these guys they can't stick anymore because the new corporate level won't allow announcers that actually have carte blanche and know that the fans have the support behind them. Like, who's going to be able to go in there and say this guy stinks or this guy doesn't stink? Or how about one of my favorite Hawk Harrelson moments is not the home run calls, but Jeff, he can go a whole half inning, 3 outs, which might take 20 minutes, and tell one story with barely even touching on the baseball game. And it was like, that
yeah.
was fantastic. Like, I really just enjoyed that. Do we have to have announcers like the ESPN three-man boost that tell you everything? Like, he's going to step out of the box here, and he's going to change his gloves. The reason why he changes his gloves is when he was 4 years old, his father taught him to step out of the box, and he does it every. Like, we don't need to hear that. Hawk Harrelson, give me something from the 70s where you guys were cracking beer cans over your head in the third inning in the dugout. That's legendary stuff, and you'll never see that come around because everything is so corporate right now.
Dottie, the two things I always remember about Hawk Harrelson is there was one time where Jose Quintana got thrown out of a game very early in the game,
Yes.
and
Was it this
we were
year? Was it
behind.
this year he did it?
No, it was several years ago. He threw behind
Was it?
Ben
Okay.
Zob. It was back, like, I think around when the Eagles won this or the Phillies won the World Series. It was back 2009-ish, that kinda era. He threw behind Zobrist, and Toby Wagner threw Quintana out, and Hawk just goes literally a whole inning on how Toby Wagner has no business umping a game again. Then there was another one where he was Donnie it was an inning it was a game-ending double play. Now, the bases were loaded at the time, and it was a clear safe at first base, but Angel Hernandez called him out, and for, like, literally 30 seconds, Hawk just screamed, "No! No!" He just keeps saying that, and then he just goes into this diatribe about how Hernandez has it out for the White Sox, and they're never get calls for them, and but he also did that, "You can put it on the board. Yes. Yes." He always would do that as well. But we miss and we'll miss Call Harrelson. I always enjoyed his calls. So shout out to him as he flies into
Yeah, I
his
liked him. I
next.
mean, I've only heard him probably 10 times over the past 20 years because obviously we don't really get that feed or broadcast unless you're betting the Chicago White Sox. But every time he's been super entertaining. So, yes.
Well, in the words of Hawk Harrelson, he gone.
Yep.
Tommy McDonald also done it. We're getting some information that
Oh,
former Eagle, one of the great Eagles of all time, a guy that you know, look, if you're a Philadelphian, you know Tommy McDonald, 84 years old, passed away. He was a Hall of Famer, and an Eagle great, Donnie.
yep. Eagle great. Oklahoma great. I mean, you want to talk about one of those guys, Jeff, like the dude was my size, right? So I look, you can't relate,
5'9".
generations or yeah, time changes and he played when he did. I can't imagine being him at that size and absolutely dominated at wide receiver in a league that wasn't really a passing league at the time. And going imagine like you're a major division 1 talent at Oklahoma. Then you go to the NFL at 5'9" and you're white and you dominate and you make it to the Hall of Fame. Like why couldn't I have gotten those genes, Jeff? The dude was my size, my everything and well, actually, he's probably about 40 pounds less back in the day in college. But what an athlete, man! What a life. He's got plays after him here in the city of Philadelphia. Him and Ray Didinger. Just a sad thing. Hall of Famer, great guy too. One of the most upbeat guys you will ever hear. And if you ever saw his Hall of Fame introduction, Jeff, put the jukebox up there or the boom box and was like, doing like dances all over the stage because of how genuinely happy he was to be in the Hall of Fame. Unlike Terrell Owens,
Yeah, rest in peace, Tommy McDonald, an old school
cool
guy.
dude.
Obviously, was on the national. I guess it wasn't a Super Bowl champion Eagles, but he was on the original champion Eagles in
World champ.
1960. Yes, world champion. I played for Vince Lombardi and yeah, great professional.
Beat Vince
Rest in
Lombardi,
peace.
Jeff. How about that? What is this? Maybe the only person to ever, only team to ever beat Vince Lombardi in a playoff.
Sure, sure.
Yep.
No, you're totally right. Donnie, Tiger Woods has won.
Yeah.
How about that? Finally, you said it would never happen, but it has. Tiger's won his first tournament. Donnie, now let's remember, he's had four
Mhm.
back surgeries.
Yep.
This is a guy that when he came back from his injury, when he returned back in December to competition, he was ranked 1,200 in the world. He's now 13. Donnie, here's all I'm going to say about Tiger. Listen, you and I are on different wavelengths here, but here's what I'm going to say. We continue to see golf as a whole, the Tiger's into it. I mean, you just don't get that anywhere else. I mean, no one's going to be as interested in golf than when Tiger's there. I talk about my own personal opinion on golf. I don't really care much about golf, but when Tiger's there, I care about golf. And you look at yesterday at that tournament, it's quite amazing what Tiger does for the sport. I know some people look, he's not what he used to be. No one's going to ever try to sell you those bill of goods, but where he is in his life, where he is in age, where he what he's been able to do quickly, you got to give respect to that. I know you don't. I know you want to downplay and say that it wasn't a real tournament or whatever, but it was 4 rounds of golf, and he won. And there's something special about that. The essence of the way Tiger Woods performed over the weekend was pretty impressive. And Tiger is Tiger, and Tiger shut you up pretty quick.
Yeah, and I'm like, there's a couple points I want to bring up. The one thing I want to bring up about Goff, which they really missed the boat, Jeff Goff. And the reason why they do this is like, we always bitch and moan about other sports. Like, why don't you move this sport back? Like, move the NBA back to after Christmas when everybody can start paying attention because you have the NFL. Why does Goff have their end of the year 4 tournaments basically in the month of September? And the best thing about Goff that I love is the Ryder Cup, and that's gonna be played next weekend. Why wouldn't they squeeze these majors and move them up maybe a week or 2 and get the FedEx Cup championship to end in the last week of August when we can actually watch yesterday? Because I like to watch Goff, and you know me, Jeff. It's more interesting for me when Tiger's in it because I like to root against them. People like to root for him. And when there's nothing going on like an August Sunday afternoon, except the Phillies getting their ass kicked, I like to tune in and watch that stuff. But
Well, wait a
yesterday,
second, Donnie. A lot
Tiger's
of
going to
people
win
watched
yesterday,
yesterday.
and nobody who's watching the golf tournament yesterday when
A
when
lot of
NFL's on.
I hate to say it, dude. A lot of people overshadowed football for Tiger. A lot of people were
Like, I
watching
didn't
that at
even watch
5.
one set, like, you know what I mean? And again, I
Oh,
watch a
hey.
lot of golf, especially the big tournaments. Like, I didn't even flip it on. I didn't actually watch a single shot yesterday of golf because of how wrapped up I am in NFL and all that stuff. I just wish it was sooner so I can actually see the stuff.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I think he overtook football yesterday. Look, did every single person switch? No, I did, and I think a lot of other people did too. A lot of people were enamored in seeing that. I mean, Donnie, you have to admit. I mean, that whole sea of people behind Tiger, you don't get that anywhere else. Golf's boring. Let's be real. With Tiger though, it isn't. People, people, people love him, and listen, Donnie. If it was me, you know what I would have did? If it's red
Yeah.
zone, I would have cut into the last hole. I would have said, "All right, we're gonna go down to." I mean, Tiger can do that. I feel like.
I actually would have cut into the last hole to see the champion Justin Rose make that putt to actually win the tournament. So that's what I would have liked to seen. I mean, why are we watching some guy that has no shot to win the FedEx Cup? Did it even matter?
Tiger won the tournament. He won the PGA
Yeah,
champion
but yeah, but
or the
let's just
tour
say
champion.
let's just try to you're gonna win the Super Bowl, right? Maybe you get in there and you win the NFC title game, but you lose the Super Bowl. Did you actually
Now
win
the
the Super
question is,
Bowl?
Donnie,
Win what you got in the
is
playoffs for?
yeah, I know it's very much UCF like. I know, I get it. Donnie, let me ask you though: Does my Justin Rose ticket catch then? Because I had
What's
Justin
that?
Rose yesterday. I had Justin Rose to win the tournament. Does that
No,
mean
but
I
no,
catch?
but the 4
I
tournament
didn't.
layout
I
was to provide the champion yesterday. And correct me if I'm wrong, the first place winner of the FedEx Cup playoff, which is a culmination of 4 tournaments, was Justin Rose, right? So if we're equated
Donnie,
over to
listen.
like the Olympics and you run the decathlon, yeah, maybe you win the last event with whatever it is, the marathon or the 10-mile run. But the guy that already has it in hand goes, you know what? I just have to come in top 10. I'm not going to expend all my energy.
Listen,
I'm not going to cramp up and I'm going to come in ninth place and win the gold medal, which is what it's all about, right? You enter the
listen, Donnie.
FedEx tournament there to actually win the tournament itself. That's all.
I know
It's
you.
a nice,
I know
but no,
you.
no, I credit. Look, Tiger won the tournament. When he actually wins a real tournament where people care about winning the tournament, I'm going to catch a lot of heat
A
here
lot of
for
people
sure.
care about it, and leave it to you to devalue the win, even though it doesn't matter.
No, it
You
was a
won.
win. It
Number
was a
one.
win. Now, look, usually you play against 150 golfers. You played against 30. You had some golfers in this field that knew coming into Sunday they didn't have to win the tournaments. Let me just hang close. That's the whole difference. If Tiger would have won maybe the first 3, I would have gave him a little bit more credit. But this was a 4 tournament playoff to provide a winner. That winner was Justin Rose.
Listen, if you bet on Tiger, you lost. The winner, or if you bet on Tiger, you won.
Yeah, he
Tiger
won.
Woods
No, and
was
again,
the winner.
I give him credit for winning a 30-man field where nobody, or not nobody, I can't say nobody, where 5 golfers didn't care if they won it. That's all. That's the only thing I'm saying. I'll have the poster up tomorrow. Congratulations on the win with a tournament that you didn't have to win in
Listen,
order for the
Donnie.
winner to be
Here's the thing.
crowned. So yeah.
Or you could say this: he faced the 30 best golfers in the world, which he did because they were all there. Cut it out with that. Does it really matter if the
No,
field's
yeah,
30
no,
or
it doesn't.
180?
It doesn't. It doesn't. He
Because most of
won.
those golfers suck.
He won. I will have a poster up tomorrow, but it'll be really
There we go.
exciting and
Fair
people
enough.
will crush me when he wins a real tournament. That's all.
Fair enough. He won. Let's just leave it at that. Jimmy Butler. I think he's played his last game for the Minnesota Timberwolves while Karl Anthony Towns gets a big contract today. I got to tell you, Donnie, and I might get crap for this, but I'm kind of sick of Jimmy Butler, to be honest. I mean, this
No,
guy's always got
I'm
issues
yes,
everywhere he
go ahead. Yep,
goes.
I'll go ahead.
It,
Yep, I'll back it.
it's just kind of irritating. Like, you ever notice it's never him. It's always the team he's on. Maybe he's just not that good a player. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's a solid player, but he just can't lead a team. Maybe that's what it is. Because you know what? At Minnesota, he wasn't the best player. Towns was. In Chicago, probably wasn't the best player. Just stop with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's a nice player, but I don't look at him as a superstar. Sorry. Maybe you do. I don't. It's always not Jimmy Butler's fault. Jimmy Butler's
No, it's the
rigid.
NBA though.
He
Like
is.
I think Jeff, do you even blame Jimmy Butler for this though? Like the
No.
NBA is run by the players. Like, can you like you can't even equate it to other sports because it doesn't happen. Like, I want to be traded by Monday, and here's where I need to go, and they make the adjustment. In most sports leagues, Jeff, I want to be traded by Monday. Yeah, you'll go home with no paycheck. Have a good one, man. But in the NBA, you have so few players out there where even if you're a bad team guy and you continually move team to team to team, GMs still like Pat Riley's trying to kick down the door to get Jimmy Butler. I only want to go to LA or New York. Now trade me before Monday. Can you imagine that? That's why the NBA is so hard to swallow sometimes because so few players control the league. The coaches don't control anything. If your star player in your team, like let's just say tomorrow, Jeff, Brett Brown, right? Joel Embiid comes out and goes, I ain't playing for this team if Brett Brown's the head coach. How fast do they fire Brett Brown in Philadelphia? 30 seconds? 1 minute? Does the press release even get out?
No, you're right. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just sick of the guy, frankly. I mean, it's never him. It's always this and that. He never seems happy where he is. He's always looking to move somewhere else. Le'Veon Bell. They're listening to trade offers for Bell, and why not? I mean, he's not going to play for you. Why not? Why not go out and get something back for him? Donnie, if you're the Eagles, would you take a shot? Of course you would, wouldn't you?
I mean, it would be fun, right? But I mean, there's a lot of moving parts that go into this. Like, I don't look. The only thing I see, Jeff, is Le'Veon Bell on like jet skis on Sunday afternoons. I mean, is he going to just come back and dominate after being out for 9 months of football? But beyond that, what are you giving up? I'm sure the Steelers aren't going to give him away for free. And number two, oh yeah, it's not that Le'Veon Bell doesn't want to play for the Steelers, Jeff. He doesn't want to play for the Steelers at that money. So damn sure be well, you're going to have to probably trade. Let's just say at this point, he's disgruntled. The Steelers aren't going to get him back. Let's say a second round pick, it's Le'Veon Bell. Well, you're not really looking at the second. Oh, would you trade a second round pick for? Of course you would. But then are you going to dump 50 million guaranteed into a running back when you're already going to have to pay Carson Wentz next year and you play Fletcher Cox $100 million and Ron Darby's up? You know what I mean? I would fantasy football wise, Jeff. Absolutely, I would love to have Le'Veon Bell on my team. But you're going to have to pay out the wazoo to get the guy, Jeff.
Listen, this also might get a lot of shit from people, but I don't want this guy. I don't want anywhere near him. He's a quitter. I don't want him. He's a fraud. Get him out
He's
of
a
here.
good player, though, man.
He
He is
is
a
a good
good
player, but
player.
he ain't a real teammate, man. You don't quit on your team because
No,
you're
you
not
don't. You're
getting.
right. You're right.
I mean,
Yep.
it just doesn't work like that, especially when you're talking about a guy that's got a lot of money, a guy that's just really. I mean, this is past the point of well, they're not taking care of me. You're just you want to be difficult. And you don't want to, you know, look.
No,
It's
exactly, Jeff. You're right. You're right on point because when you take a look at like the Odell Beckham situation, is he going to go into the last year of his contract making like $3 million? No, Le'Veon Bell was on a $14.5 million franchise tag. Your point is correct.
and look, I will be the first one to back up a player that wants money in the NFL. Listen, it's a tough league. You got to look down the road and think that you're really putting yourself out there for money. That's what you do. You're probably going to have some sort of brain problem. But listen, here's the truth of the matter. This year, Le'Veon Bell would make over $14 million. And that ain't enough. You want more? I mean,
Yeah,
keep
and
in
you and
mind.
the best thing, Jeff, exactly. The franchise tag is collectively bargained from your union. Your union fought to say, if we can't come to an agreement, we're going to pay you one of the highest wages at your position in the NFL for a year, and you can try to do it again next year. Your union did that, Jeff. This isn't like some outlandish, they're just robbing the man, not giving him his money. Your union bargained for this.
Very selfish. Uh, and one final point tonight, or today, Clay Matthews, another bad hit. Um, listen, I mean, I don't know what else to say about these hits. It's kind of pathetic at this point. What are you supposed to do when you tackle quarterback, Donnie? I mean, how do you position yourself in the moment to not land on, like, put your weight down on him? I don't get it. I don't get
No,
this. I
no,
don't.
and you're so true on this, Jeff, because if now look, this goes back a while. You're probably old enough to remember this. The AFC, remember it was actually the game after the Eagles lost at home 2002. It was actually early 2003 in January, the NFC title game to the Buccaneers. The very next game was the Baltimore Ravens, Jeff, who played the Oakland Raiders before. It wasn't. It was the year before. I'm sorry. It was the year before that. The reason I want to bring this up is if you remember, Tony Siragusa body weighted Rich Gannon and knocked him out of the game. That was one of the original plays saying, like, it's a dirty play where you hit the guy and you purposely dead weight yourself to go in the quarterback. There has to be some instances here, Jeff, where they can make some common sense. Like if Clay Matthews is coming in for a tackle on a quarterback, a bang bang play and lands on him, that shouldn't be a penalty. The dead weight penalty should be, Jeff, if the quarterback does not have the football and you took a step and a half, hit the quarterback, then body weighted him. That's a penalty. But when you're sacking a quarterback, when you tackle him, all bets should be off, right? You should, because what's going to happen there is they used to have the in the grasp rule, Jeff, for Randall Cunningham, where if you got him like a hold of him, they just blew the play dead because they didn't let him scramble out figuring he was going to get hurt. But if you are a tackle, if you're getting tackled in the field of play, the body weight issue should never come into existence.
I mean, what are we supposed to do? Is it supposed to be like training camp where they just like when you touch the quarterback, the play's dead? Maybe they do that, Donnie.
No, like, yeah, but again,
What do
you know
you?
what they made
I
the
mean,
correction on, Jeff? Very quietly in the NFL. You remember in the preseason when I was just full blown panic mode, they're going to ruin my sport, was the helmet rule. I haven't seen a single one of those called in the NFL in regular season action. Somebody's going to have to go behind the scenes because the play that, like, if you look at a textbook tackle with Clay Matthews had, by the new definition, that's a penalty. But the definition doesn't come into account of sacking the quarterback, technically. A hit on the quarterback where you hit him late, that's always called. This has to be taken out because you can't control your body. Like you're trying to tackle the quarterback. Or you now have to come from the side and like, shoehorn them or like, club them.
yeah,
I don't understand what they're asking you to do.
no, I agree. I think it has
Yeah.
to be looked at. It has to
Yep.
be. Donnie and Jeff, your top 5 venues, stadiums that support you 1 to 10. All right, then let's
Oh,
not do each a list. Let's just do a few that we want to go to. For me, Wembley in England for sure.
yeah, but is it
Yeah, I
new Wembley
definitely
or is it the old one? Is it the new one or the old one, though? I would have rather gone to is this the old one still around?
no. There's only one Wembley. I
Is
think you're
there?
thinking
Oh,
of
it's getting
Tottenham.
me.
Tottenham has their own stadium.
No,
They're
no, I'm
getting
talking
a
about
new.
where like all the old school concerts, like Live Aid and all that stuff from Wembley back. I thought they built a new Wembley at this point.
No, just one.
Oh.
I'll go Wembley. I'll go. I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to like go to like, and I'm kind of gonna lump this in any of like the like. I'm not. I don't want to go to an arena. The old like Tuscaloosa or Death Valley, like one of those big time college football games. I want to go to Allen Fieldhouse in Kansas for sure. Um, obviously Cameron for sure. What about you, Don? Do you have any
No,
on the
you're
top
right
of your
about
head?
that. I love historical venues, and one of the coolest ones is the Palestra in Philadelphia. If you've never been there, it's not so much about like going to a game, watching Penn there. I'm a reminiscent type of guy. Like I like to go to stadiums and go, wow, like something crazy happened here in 1942, and try to envision where it was. Like when you went
Yeah.
to old Yankee Stadium, Jeff, it wasn't so much you were watching the Yankees and Derek Jeter like through the 90s or early 2000s. It was Babe Ruth actually played here. Mickey Mantle hit a
Mhm.
home run up there. Reggie Jackson, the World Series, hit a home run over here. I've never been to Fenway Park, but you can just imagine like the Carlton Fisk I think it was Carlton Fisk or whoever hit the home run in the World Series, like waving it fair or foul. Like I like to do that. Never been to Wrigley Field, but I would love to go there just to see like stuff that you grew up with. Even when we had Vet Stadium, Jeff, you would go there and show up for the first time and see how green like the ugly AstroTurf was, and just remember like, man, I remember like Mike Schmidt hit a home run here or there. I love older venues, but in college, like football wise, I would love to go to a game at Oregon. I would love to go to a game at Death Valley. But also college basketball wise, like going up to a Rose Hill to see Fordham and just saying the oldest gym in the United States. Imagine how many cool stuff happened here. Just the history of it all. I've been to Cameron Indoor. It's fantastic. I went there in the 90s back with Leitner and Bobby Hurley. And I can imagine I was only in sixth grade looking around, Jeff, and going, imagine how much cool stuff happened here. I can always say I visited, but I'm big on nostalgia stuff.
Sure. Uh, Imagine me and this guy, Donnie. Vikings will be fine. Team didn't prepare right for the game. It's still an NFL team. Eagles almost lost to the Colts. Calm down. They didn't though. Stop with almost.
And they
Like,
got
please,
blown out
dude.
too. I could see if
Yeah,
Buffalo
I
went there
mean,
and stumped them
I mean,
14-13. They
yeah, we're trying
dominated.
to
Like,
justify this. Really,
man.
you're trying to stop. Like it's never ending with this guy Teddy B. It's literally his team could go out and murder people, and he would make an excuse as to why they did it. I mean, Teddy, give it a break, bro. Just admit they didn't play well. What do the Eagles have to do with anything? I don't think they have. What do the Eagles have to do with the Vikings? Donnie, I don't know if
No,
you see a
nothing.
connection
I
there.
don't
I
know.
don't.
No, there's
I don't
no
really.
connection. One team
I
one
don't know.
team beat a decent football team, and one team lost to what almost looked like a historically bad football team.
Yeah, yeah, right. That's what I saw. Let's go to the NFL, Donnie, and recap what we saw yesterday. We will get into the NFL tonight. We got a big game between the Buccaneers and the Steelers.
Stellar.
Yeah, the Steelers. Good point. How about this, Donnie? What a shootout between the Titans and Jags. Big time game that's today. We hit it on the head, Donnie. Titans play the Jags well. No Leonard Fournette. It's always concerning when Blake Bortles has to win a football game. Nice win for the Titans today. They have the number of the Jags.
But man, doesn't a couple things play into this, Jeff? Like you see, because the preface, if you joined us on the closing line yesterday, it was a great show, and like a lot of things worked out in our favor on that show. But when you really broke it down, you said, you know what, Titans going to play a little bit of defense here, which New England didn't even show up the week before. And how much of an upgrade is Blake Bortles? And you saw him get knocked out in the first half, and Marcus Mariota didn't do anything special throughout that game. What was the actual final? I believe it was 9-6. They were getting 10 points. And it was about what you thought it would be, a lower scoring type game. And Jacksonville just goes right back into that shell. When you think they're just ready to get out of it, Jeff, like, man, they just put away the Patriots. The offense has a passing game. They look like a machine. And they go with a whimper on Sunday against a team that just seemingly has their number now, Jeff.
What a world, the NFL, Donnie. One team one week gets crushed, the next week, let the Lions last night. You get killed by the Jets, and then you go out and beat New England. Go figure. What a
Yep.
game down in New Orleans, or I'm sorry, in Atlanta yesterday. What a game, Donnie. I know you were on this game. You and I were talking about it. What a weird game. I mean, it's 32-30, but then they call a penalty for leaping, and then the
Oh,
Falcons
my
go
God.
score, so it's 37-30. You basically need you're texting me. You're saying, "Please go down and score and miss the extra point." You were just hoping for that. They go down, score. Game goes to overtime. A 12-minute drive for the Saints. They punch it in and win the game. It was all about that coin toss, Donnie. They got the coin toss and won the game.
Yeah, the 10-minute overtime was actually a little bit less, but it would have been if it was a 15-minute quarter. But it was a great drive. But how many things go against you in an NFL game, Jeff, and also go your way at times? Like you always see me on Twitter, Jeff. I always say the breaks are going to go against you and come back to you. Third down stop, the Saints get some phantom flag down in the red zone on a slant pass that wasn't a flag, turns into a touchdown instead of a field goal. Then you take a look again. You're right. It's 7 minutes to go in the game. They get the stop. I'm watching it on TV, right? They get it, and the field goal unit comes out to kick the field goal. It's up and good. Red zone cuts away. I'm like, okay, look at this. I believe it was at that point was going to be a 1-point game or two, whatever it was, 1-point game or 2-point game. Doesn't matter at this point. But you're inside the cover. The Saints are getting the football back. So worst case scenario happens what, Jeff? Saints go down, score a touchdown. Saints go down and kick a field goal. Then maybe Atlanta needs a field goal, or Saints stall out on like the 50 or 40-yard line, and Atlanta runs the clock. It was like the perfect scenario. And I'm watching my update screen, Jeff, on ESPN, and I see it revert back and say penalty on the. And I'm saying, like, this has to be an error. Like, I know ESPN makes errors. It's got to be an error. And then a Mohamed Sanu touchdown behind it. And I'm saying to
Uh,
myself, and we're going back and forth on Skype, I'm like, Jeff, is the curse here? Because it even, like, because if you haven't been following me and Jeff, like, look, you try to put your best stuff out there and see what happens. Me and Jeff were having fun on a college football game Saturday night. Was it ULM? Drive all the way down, get a first and goal inside the 10. I'm like, all right, one for the good guys, a nice comeback. And he throws an interception in the end zone. And it was like Murphy's Law all over again. Then you had to win the coin toss in overtime because you knew it, Jeff. Whoever got the ball first in
Also,
overtime was
let-
going to
let's
score.
let's keep in mind. Yeah, exactly, because no one could stop anybody. But let's also keep in mind we also had Illinois Friday night, which was probably the worst beat in the history of beats, and it actually rivals the West Kentucky beat from a few
It
years
does.
ago. But yeah, I mean, you had to figure whoever was going to win the toss, and who would have thought, Donnie, the winning on the game would come down to a coin flip, of course.
Yes,
And
and then
yeah,
also come down to what, Jeff? Boom, Kamara's in the end zone. Oh, wait, let's review it and bring it back to the one. I'm going, you sons of bitches out there, man.
and it came down to Drew Brees having to run the football down to amazing.
Oh,
Interesting question here by Chris C. Donnie,
yeah.
what's with everyone from the Atlantic City area wearing Eagles jerseys? That might be the weirdest
Well, you
question
might
I've
leave it
ever
at that.
heard.
You might just have to leave it at that, Jeff. Is there an explanation?
Yeah. Yeah, there has to be
What's
an
yeah.
explanation for that
What's with everybody in Macon, Georgia wearing Atlanta Falcons gear? I mean, what are we
question.
talking
Yeah,
about?
right. What's with everyone in Long Island wearing Yankees jerseys? What? What do you mean, what? Because it's close, and we're Eagle fans. What are you talking about? You do know you can root for a team even if you don't live right in the city, right? Odd
Yes, and
question.
you do
Atlantic
know
City,
Pennsylvanians at
yeah,
large have second homes and vacation houses up and down Atlantic City
sure.
to
And
Cape May. Yeah,
right. For anyone that doesn't know, if you're from Philadelphia and from the area, you go down the shore for summer. That's where you go. And it's basically like our second home. So that's why. Maybe Chris doesn't know that Atlantic City's awfully close to Philadelphia. I don't know. Um, but yes, Chris, Erica Uber, we're not allowed to leave Philly. Good point. Actually, Donnie, we can't leave. We're cordoned off the city limits. Cannot leave.
yeah. You know, it's funny.
Um,
I always yell at my wife. My wife was born in South Philadelphia, so we always have the argument. Like when we drive down to the shore and it's all Pennsylvania plates, it seems like I yell because I'm like, they shouldn't be allowed to clog these highways. The traffic is here because the people from PA. Then the wife always claps me back by saying, "What, Jeff? Well, then you can't be an Eagles fan or come to a game." I said, "You know what? Good point."
yeah. Well, listen, Donnie. Without us down the shore, who knows where the economy would be? Um, yeah. Listen, Chris, just take the L, bro. We're from Philly. That's why. Listen, I don't know that if I got your point, I would understand, but I just don't understand your point here, bro. Can we take a second to mention the 35 nothing fourth quarter collapse? I'm not sure we have to mention it. It was
I
quite
know, and I
amazing,
don't want
really.
to. I don't want to even
Uh,
relive it. But like in this business, Jeff, you and I know as well. Like it doesn't matter if you're selling picks, giving picks, or just betting the game. There's very few games where you go to bet. Like I'm an older guy, and I bet hundreds and hundreds of football games and whatever it would be. There's very few games that almost make me ill, and then I can't sleep for about an hour and a half. And then when I wake up in the morning, the very first thing I think about is that football game. That was one. And every few years they come around, but that's part of the business.
no, that one was ugly. That was really sickening. 9 minutes left in the third quarter. They're up 24-21. They lose 63-24. Amazing. But Donnie, you know what a rule? You know what you do? Some people I know do this. They live in, let's say they live in Philly, right? But they have
Mhm.
a house down the shore.
Yeah.
They'll convert all their shit to down the shore, so like they get like state funded college for their kid, in New Jersey.
Oh, you going to jail with
That's
that one. Good one for them.
uh, uh, everybody does. Um,
Don't dime them out, Jeff. We're live on
no,
the
no,
air.
I will never expose who those people are.
And by the way, I see
What else?
people commenting in there. I didn't get the Tiger Woods poster. I have a red shirt ready to go for tomorrow, and I'm going to search for a Tiger Woods poster today because Jeff, I own up, right? Your Rams bet last year. We had $100 on it. Did you? The minute it was done, what happened? PayPal'd
Nah,
you
it
a
was a
hundred
couple
bucks.
days after actually, but you
Oh,
paid.
well, okay. So
No, I'm
same as
kidding.
this then.
No,
Oh,
you
yeah.
paid. You paid right away.
No, I always own up, and I'll have it up tomorrow. So I mean, yeah, I always play
All
along
right,
with this
Donnie,
stuff.
let's fly through the NFL here. Bill O'Brien might be time to go. Bill O'Brien, it's time to go. Might be time to go. Another bad performance yesterday from Houston. And how about that, Donnie? The Gigantes, Los Gigantes, a win. A winner for me, and I'll take that one.
No,
How
it was
about that?
bad yesterday. It was bad yesterday, and it was one of those games again where I almost had to like, watch the game, take my shirt off, and like, get some good mojo going because I just couldn't believe what was going on in the red zone for the Texans out there, repeatedly going up and down the field, and then Deshaun Watson making stupid play after stupid play in the red zone. Lamar Miller fumbling the football. That's the definition of a badly coached team, Jeff. Right, where you don't make the right decisions. How many times do you see good football teams out there say, you know what? They never make that mistake. Drew Brees, Sean Payton out there, like in the red zone, like a machine. And then you
No,
see
they did
Deshaun
shoot
Watson
themselves in
with
the foot.
more of hanging out in the pocket and rolling around. That's on your head coach. You're supposed to be a quarterback whisperer. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, you just mistakes time and time and time again. Second half, I should have known better than to get involved with those pricks. Uh, Bills, how about this, Donnie? The Bills beat the Vikings as 16.5 point dogs, going and crush the pathetic Vikings at home. I mean, Donnie, how many times the Vikings have to show us how pathetic they are? I mean, you get
I can't
crushed in the
believe
NFC Championship, get crushed here. I mean, when is this bad play from them going to stop?
I don't. It was wild, but I'm sure there's some hot takes out there, Jeff, that said, "Oh, I told you the Bills would upset Minnesota yesterday." I mean, I'm sure there's probably going to be hot takes on that, but you never hear about the million other hot takes. I didn't see it coming, Jeff. We talked about the line. I told you yesterday, even on the closing line the weeks before. I'm not into betting minus 17s, right? So the only play theoretically, if you had a free bet on, you would take the Buffalo Bills, and that, at least I would have taken the Buffalo Bills. The money's
I don't
outrageous,
know.
but who saw that coming? I don't care if that they had a look ahead game on deck. Who saw this banged up, beaten, motley crew of the Bills going into play Minnesota, right? Like, how come, Jeff? There's two look ahead games that we looked at last week in college football. Ohio State, Penn State murked both of their teams. So now should we say that college teams are more focused than the professionals? What gives here, man?
Here's one thing that does give, and I'm gonna tell all of you what I'm sick of seeing. You know what I'm sick of seeing, Donnie, when an upset like this happens? When they like these people in Vegas tweet out that someone put $9,000 to win like 400 on the Vikings and they lost, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, what a terrible better! I need to understand why exactly that person did that." I mean, can we give that up already, Donnie? I mean, in the betting
Yeah.
community, there's reasons they do that because you can't make $450 anywhere in 3 hours interest wise with a 9 grand. That's why they do it. It's fucking obvious. Stop.
Or the
I see.
or this, Jeff. My favorite theory is just rob this dude. We got this money together. Look, let's wash it. Let's put down
Yeah.
9,000 on a sure thing.
uh,
We'll get fresh money back. Let's get on it. Gee, it's genius, right?
Yeah.
What did they
I
do in the
mean,
what? What did they do in the what was the Ben Affleck movie? It's what's
the
slipping my
town.
mind where they were robbing banks. The Town. What did the FBI agent tell him immediately? Check all the gambling outlets out there because you know that's what they're going to do.
Well, yeah, that you go and like you give it to like strippers that you know, and you have them convert the money from
Yep.
into
Or you
chips, and
go
then you
down to
get
a
it right back.
cage, or you go sit down at a poker table, cash in big, and then walk back out and cash back out. You know what I mean? That's how you do it.
Right. I don't know. I always see that. And I'm just like, you do understand why they do that. Most 100 times they're going to lose maybe 98 of them. They're going to make money.
And they have money to, but the dudes that do that
Right.
don't get like, oh man, he lost 50 grand. That brother probably has $20 million in cash in his like safety deposit box. I don't really think he
Right.
cares.
Right. They're going to win every single time, except for that one time yesterday.
Yeah.
Jimmy G. Oh no, Jimmy G. Yes,
Uh,
we are sad about this one. Jimmy G might be out for the season. And there goes all those 49er tickets. You know, the ones that said they were going to win the division this year, and you know all those. Yeah, sad day for Niner.
Sad day for my fantasy football team too, as he was my
Oh,
starting
you have
quarterback. But yeah, you know what sucks about that though, Jeff? Worst of all, like just being a gambler. Because to me, the 49ers were live every week. Like you wanted to cap their games. Like we took a look at it yesterday, saying, we thought Jimmy G might be, and they almost got inside that number after getting routed, but he did get hurt. But now, just as a capping option, it's going to take me a while now to see again what the 49ers really are. And that's a shame because you thought you had a decent beat on what they can be. They got healthy on defense. He got some weapons back. And now you're going to say, you know what? Let's see Jimmy G and this team in different environments, see if we can find some value. Now you go back to CJ Beathard and you just like, I don't know, you just taking the points for fun now? That sucks. As a gambler in the NFL, it's going to cost me some games where I would like to cap and maybe had an advantage on.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough loss. What a great player. He definitely got the short end of the stick there. Donnie, I love the NFL is interesting. What a league. And it's funny this morning. I saw Gabe Morency tweeted out. Oh, he just tweeted it out actually. Our new survivor pool is now open.
Yeah.
People are now
Does
creating
anybody?
new
Yes.
leagues. That's great, man. That's fucking great. I'm gonna have to get in on that actually. Now that you know, now that but there's new competition starting. That's great. That's funny. The NFL it hurt people so bad in week 2 and 3 that we're starting new survivor pools now. That's funny stuff. Brady needs help, obviously. Tom Brady didn't look good last night. Threw for like what 160 yards. Don't see that very often. Listen, they don't have a lot of talent right now on that team. And look, I'll give them that respect because there's a lot of teams that don't. But hey, some of those teams are able to go out and win. They weren't. They look real bad, Donnie, right now. Defense doesn't look good either.
No, they're injured on defense too. Now they are going to get some help when Edelman comes back. That's going to really open up a lot. That's his go-to guy. 3rd and 9, he's open or 3rd and 5, He's open every single time. So that's going to open a little bit up. I don't know what Josh Gordon's going to end up doing, but some help is on the way, especially if the defense gets healthy. But look, Father Time catches up. There was one play, I can't remember if it was in the second quarter or maybe third quarter, early third quarter action, where Tom Brady was rolling around in the pocket and nobody was open, and he literally tried to scramble for like 5 to 6 minutes. Everybody was blanketed downfield, and he just got sacked like an old man out there. He's not getting the help right now. And you know what? It is the Patriot way, though, right? Oh, we have Brandon Cooks. We don't need Brandon Cooks, man. Get him out of here. We'll ship him out, and he's not worth his weight or do anything. You need talent to win some of these football games, man. So I don't know where the Patriots are going to go. I don't want to kick and bury them because we've seen them 1-2 just a couple years back and then surge to like a 12-4 record. I don't ever want to count Brady and Belichick out, but they're going to need Edelman back, and they're going to need a lot of help right now. But then again, Jeff, you got one team in South Florida that's 3-0. I don't know if they can kick it the rest of the way because, again, it's still the AFC East that they play in.
Donnie, here's all you need to know about last night's game. Okay, it was about 8 o'clock. I go on to look at the number, and I'm thinking, all right, I bet this number is 6.5. Now, 80+% of the money was on the Patriots. Line dropped to 6.5, like about at 8 o'clock. That's when I knew. I said, I know the Lions are gonna win this game.
I
You got
actually
to
would have
see
lost
that
that
stuff.
then because I was saying like on a numbers game, if it was 7 or higher, which it was for a lot of the time, I would have taken Detroit, but 6.5 or lower, I probably would have leaned on taking the Patriots. So good for me, not losing any money.
Why is everyone ignoring Miami? I don't know, because they
I
are
don't know.
three
Yeah,
and
nobody.
zero, and
Well, hold on. Nobody talked about the Florida football teams. Tampa Bay and Miami at all. So I don't know why
yeah.
anybody's.
Listen. I've talked about Miami. I mean, look, let's be real. I mean, they've beaten two of the wins against the Jets and the Raiders, and the two of them are at home. But yeah, I mean, I think people start talking about if they win this week, go out and win this week. Go beat the Patriots. Then yeah, maybe beat the Bengals. If you go 4 or 5-0, 4-1, yeah, people start talking
Is
about them.
that who they play?
But
Actually, I didn't even look at the lines yet this week. Is that who they play this week?
they play New England. Yeah,
Is it home or away? Let me
it's
see
away.
here. Damn it.
They're probably like eight
Uh,
point under.
7. It looks like they're supposed to be.
And also, finally, Donnie, we saved the best for last. Carson Wentz. Wow, what a great performance today. In the rain, very few weapons. Still goes out. No
11,
excuses.
11 play
Yeah,
drive.
yeah, no excuses. No, hey, listen, we don't have any weapons. We're not going to win this game. Or no, hey, listen, we're going to lose to the worst team in the league by 21 points. Not in this town. That doesn't happen here. Big win.
Nope.
Eagles get the job done. Doesn't matter how much you win by. Did you win? Every win is a good win in the National Football League. Remember that. Eagles win.
And how about like the lost art of the Eagles on a historic pace at home as a defense? Lights
Oh
like
yeah.
I'm sorry, like if you're taking like overs, you better hope the Eagles hit it themselves because I don't know. You know what, Jeff? Go ahead, talk for a second. I'm going to bring up a stat here in just a moment. Go ahead, take the mic.
Yeah, look, I mean, the pass rush wasn't great yesterday, but it was good enough. Listen, we don't have excuses in this town. We just go out and win. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's raining. Doesn't matter if we don't have weapons. Doesn't matter if we don't have a running back. Doesn't matter if we can't get stops in the
All right.
secondary. Doesn't matter.
Ready for this one?
Eagles
Ready for this one,
prevail.
Jeff? Talk about the Eagles D, which, on the road against a good passing team, sometimes they get a little bit maligned. How about this stat? Ready? In the Eagles' last 9 home games, the Eagles defense has defended 105 drives and allowed 8 touchdowns. Of those 8 touchdowns, only 3 have come in the second half, and only one of those was with their starters on the field because they played the Dallas Cowboys without their starters. I can't even fathom that. You're going to win a
But
lot of football
it's
games and Super Bowls doing stuff like that.
But we get these kind of we get these kind of points made by listeners. Please, guys, settle down. That last drive was the flukiest thing I've ever seen. What you've never seen
They do it
the
every week.
Eagles get
Yeah.
stopped? Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. They did it against the Falcons too. Give them respect. I know none of you want to give them respect, but hey, I want you all to know this. The Eagles won the Super Bowl. I know you don't want to believe it, but here's what we say in Philadelphia. That's what we say, motherfuckers. Philly against everybody. That's what we say here. I know you don't want to admit it. Time to admit it. And it's
Teddy
time to admit
doesn't. Teddy
also
B doesn't want
that,
to admit it.
well, that's fine. But hey, we will. Let's move on. College football.
Hmm.
Um, an interesting weekend on the college level as well. Uh, Listen, if you had Oregon, another tough beat, Donnie, in a week of bad beats. If you had
Oh.
Oregon, I don't know what else to say. You kneel on the ball, Donnie. Hey, you might
No,
give
they
them
see
40.
they couldn't kneel at that point, but how many times do you see these type of environments take place, right? Where you go up double digits, you just score, you punch it in, and you know what? You sit back and go, I don't really care if Stanford scores a touchdown on the next drive, but just make it like a 4 minute drive or 3.5 minute drive. And it's like bing, bing,
But,
bing,
but Donnie,
Stanford's
Donnie,
in
listen.
like what, 1 minute?
But the thing is, okay, let's say you give them the ball back, which you probably would have had to because you were just going to run and whatever. I mean, it's better than, giving them the ball at the 25-yard line where you gave it to them and they basically had to kick a field goal. You punt it away. If you give them the ball with 40 seconds left, okay. They don't have any timeouts and they got to go the length of the field. I mean, you
No, but you
cannot
had
do
2
that.
they still had a timeout. You shouldn't have fumbled the ball, and they would have probably got a first down on the next play.
Yeah,
That's
you
just a
shouldn't have fumbled
super,
it, but if
super fluke.
if, if you would have just kneeled it, you wouldn't have had to worry about that.
No, but you couldn't
That's
have.
the
They would have
point.
had over a minute and a half. They could have went. They went down on the field like surgeons the drive before. They couldn't because I was going back over the time stamp on there to see if they didn't have any timeouts. But there was over 2 minutes to go, and they still had a timeout left. So they were effectively doing the right thing. But you just can't
I
fumble the
feel like
ball. If
there
you
was
take a
less
knee,
time than.
you're giving them the ball back.
But either though, I mean, Oregon did get. You talk about refs. I mean, Oregon, that pylon
The
touchdown. I mean,
touchdown.
what the
And then what
hell
about
was that?
the one where the dude ran it in and kicked the pylon and had enough information to overturn that? That was one of the worst calls I've ever seen.
Yeah, brutal stuff. So yeah, if you had Oregon, we pour it out for you. Sorry. Oh yeah, Rocky Top, boom, big Rocky Top, Rocky
Sharp
Top.
play. It
Get the hell
was
out
a
of here.
sharp play.
One
It
of the
was very
one of
sharp,
the most
Jeff.
what a delusional group of fucking people this Tennessee team is. I mean, why is this team regarded the way they are? They are the one of the worst fan bases and look, I know they're not all bad. I mean, Guan White's a nice guy, but listen, this team stinks. They're a bunch of losers. Everything they do is bad. Everything they do, they screw up, Donnie, Tennessee. This football
Yeah, I
program
don't
is a
know. I
joke.
mean, Butch Jones really left like the cupboard with some soft, mental guys down there for Tennessee. I like Jeremy Pruitt. I like the fireness. I like, having a good D coordinator. I like all that stuff. And I think he'll get it together. Look, it's hard to say is Tennessee going to return to a national championship contender when you got Alabama, Auburn, now Georgia's rising up. You're fighting for all that same
And
talent. And you were
listen,
up there for a while with Phil Fulmer. And again, I like when everybody bites off more than they can chew. Like Phil Fulmer technically should still be the head football coach if he wanted it for Tennessee. But when you start getting those pie in the eyes, like, dude, getting us to a New Year's Bowl isn't enough. We want a title. So you start firing people. Look at that rabbit hole where it ends up, man. The Derek Dooleys of the world, Butch Jones. I mean, what are we doing?
but let's what's funny, Donnie? They're not even the most delusional fan base in the country. And I know they're close. The worst team as far as delusion in the country, Notre Dame. I mean, when has this team won anything? Seriously. When was the last time Notre Dame won anything? Like the
And why is it?
80s?
And Jeff, I have a question
Like,
for this too. Is why isn't it? Wouldn't it be? Or I know there's a lot of money involved. How come it's not an NCAA violation, Jeff, that they have their own channel with homers calling the games?
yeah.
How's that allowed?
Yeah. I don't know. It's on like NBC too, like the most
Yes,
famous network in
yes.
America.
I can't like it
I
should
don't
be
know.
on like a pay per view where you have to pay like $29, but you tune in and it's just a 3 hour fluff piece on Notre Dame, and it just I guess that's why they have a lot of haters and a lot of people that like Notre Dame, and it works. And the only reason it happens is because obviously they can make NBC money. But I never understood how that can be a standalone or just the simple fact that you're an NCAA football team, Jeff, with no affiliation. And I know there's other teams like the Armies and UMass or whatever, and BYU. I don't even know how that's even allowed to happen.
Clayton Evans, beat big man. You'll eat those words about Notre Dame this year. No, I won't. And I
They got
won't
a
ever eat
nice
those
game.
words
They
about
look
Notre
like they
Dame.
got an offense now. All of a sudden, I mean, look, you beat Wake. I get it. Another sharp play everybody was on was Wake
Who
Forest.
cares
That kid
about
balled
Wake?
out for Notre Dame, man. Ball.
Their defensive coordinator got fired this week. That's how bad they are. Like, Wake. Listen, go beat Stanford and go beat, all those teams. And then we'll talk about Notre Dame. But in other words, shut up about Notre Dame. This team don't win anything. All right, they haven't won anything for 30 years. Stop putting Notre Dame on some pedestal as well. Uh, Washington escapes, Donnie. And look, we got to keep giving Herm Edwards credit. This team has, I mean, surprised. You go up to Washington, you
They're
play well.
tough.
This
Yes,
They
they're
are tough.
tough.
They're very tough. And I'll tell you what, Washington, they're getting by teams, but it hasn't been pretty. I mean, this team has not looked anything special.
No, they haven't. But just getting back to your point on there, and look, we like to come correct, Jeff, when we're wrong. I laughed at Herm Edwards. I'm like, this ain't gonna work, man. You got a guy now that's in Tucson up the road who's gonna be eating your lunch recruiting wise, and he's gonna run a more up tempo offense. And go Herm Edwards, man. Look, I've always liked Herm. Herm Edwards was the Eagle, man. He's near and dear to us in this city, and he's funny on camera with ESPN. I thought it was a horrific hire. Doesn't look so right now, man. Looks like he's playing the part, right, Jeff? Be the CEO. Make sure these guys are men. Let my coordinators handle their business. Look, I can't hate what he's doing.
All right, we got to go quicker here. Let's wrap these up. Texas Tech and Kentucky bark, Donnie. Texas Tech wins as a big dog. They were the biggest dog this week to
Yeah.
win. They win by 13, I
Oh,
believe, against
yeah.
Oklahoma. Or no, they won by more than
Oh,
13. I think they won by like 30. I'm
what
looking at the
did
wrong
Gundy
score.
go out and like pigeon hunt after that? And is he really tan these days? That guy's got to be on the hot seat sooner or later. I mean, I know he's backed by one of the biggest billionaires in the United States, T. Boone Pickens, but eventually enough's got to be enough for him too, right?
Yeah, they lose 41-17. You scored 17 against Texas Tech. Taylor Cornelius was
Dude,
not good.
Ole Miss beat up Texas Tech, Jeff. Ole Miss, come on,
Yeah,
Oklahoma
yeah,
State.
yeah. And how about Mark Stoops? I'm not a Mark Stoops guy, but how about Mark Stoops? A school that's known for basketball, a state that's known for basketball. Kentucky goes in and crushes Mississippi State. Joe Moorhead's Mississippi State. How about that? Kentucky's already beaten Florida, which is a game they haven't won in like 28 years. Then they go out and beat Mississippi State. They get a big game next week against South Carolina. How about Mark Stoops' team? They're going to win the SEC, Donnie.
Yeah, how about that, right? Speed. What do they use? Spark training down there. They're trying to get the athletes in there to run faster than you. Good old Benny Snell holding it down. But look, I like when upstart. I always get this. Look, Stoops has been there a while. We've been waiting on Kentucky. We always laugh at Kentucky. Wasn't Kentucky the team, Jeff? Which I believe they played LSU and were dumping the ice buckets on their coach because they finally beat LSU and then got beat on a Hail Mary to end the football game. That's Kentucky football, living in the shadows of their basketball team. How many times do we see at Kentucky, right, Jeff? Nice stadium. Everybody's excited, for the start of the season. And by October, it's like, oh man, Midnight Madness is coming up, and goodbye football team.
Exactly. Right. Maybe not this year though.
No.
Donnie, let's get into tonight's game quickly here. Steelers headed on the road to take on the Bucks. Bucks won, total 54.
Yeah, let's
Listen,
go
this
fast.
is
Go
simple.
fast.
Yeah, this is simple to me, Donnie. I think the over looks like the play here. I'm not going to fight this stuff. I'm not going to say that I have any other interest in this game other than points. It's a square play, but so was Saints Falcons just today. You have two offenses that love to throw the ball around. I mean, I knew last week against Kansas City that over looked good there. I just don't see a viable scenario where these two teams. I mean, neither team really wants to run the ball a whole lot. This looks like a fun shootout on Monday night. I'm going to just rock with that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. There should be points. I actually thought there would be points last night in the football game, but sometimes when you look at the NFL, just it's the most situational league of all. Steelers lose tonight, it's a wrap. A wrap on the playoffs. Big Ben's probably going to go off and chase Stormy Daniels again with that news coming out. Le'Veon Bell is going to be on a jet ski, maybe in the Caribbean this week with a couple emojis laughing at the Steelers. Antonio Brown will basically say, I would demand a trade by next week for real now. It all falls apart tonight if the Steelers lose. I think they come with a pretty good effort in this one because, again, playing with a little bit of house money in Tampa Bay. They're that hot shot team, Fitzpatrick. Maybe we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Who thought they would be 3-0 after one of the toughest three-game stretches you're going to have to open the season? The Super Bowl tonight is for the Steelers. They lose, they're out of the playoffs, and they are done for the season. So I think we might get a good effort there, Jeff.
Tomorrow we'll look ahead to the games this weekend. A lot of big ones in college and in the NFL. Also, quickly, wanted to point out one other one. Shout out to Old Dominion. Nice win over the weekend. Big win. How about that, Donnie? How about college? You get crushed by 40 against Liberty. Then you go out and a
Yeah, and
couple
then you
weeks
bring the
later, beat
Karate
up
Kid in,
Austin.
Jeff. All you had to do was start the Karate Kid, and you got a nice victory, man. So good for them.
Amazing stuff. By the way, Donnie, the big announcement: we will be on tomorrow. So, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Donnie, wanted to announce something here today for everyone. We're excited. SBR is excited about this, and we are powered by SBR doing all this, Donnie. Starting today at 3 o'clock,
Slide it
with
down.
all of you.
There we go.
Yes, 3 o'clock every day. Now, going forward, Monday through Friday, 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central. We are now going national. We will have a national show. You can listen anywhere. It's first going to be broadcasted on Fox Sports Chicago, AM 1350, FM 102.3. So if you're in Chicago, you can turn on the radio today and hear us along with Clay Travis and all the different people over at
Colin Cowherd. Yeah, by
Fox
the way, we're
Sports.
coming on right after Colin Cowherd, so
Right.
make sure you
We're on
stay for
right
the
after.
party.
How about that? We're on right after Cowherd. Exactly. So if you like Colin, you can just keep your dial right there, and you can listen to us right after. It's an all gambling show. We're going to talk gambling. We're not going to talk this and that. We're going to talk gambling. We're going to talk about sports betting. We're going to talk about everything gambling.
Bad
We're going to
beats.
start
Yep,
it out.
everything we talk
Yeah.
about here on the show. We're not going to have, obviously not morning headlines because we're a morning show. That's what we do, open up. But we get that afternoon look. Be able to spit some fire. You can digest some lines that come out. It's great during football season because later in the week, we'll really examine the games over the weekend. But again, on like a Monday, recaps are one of my favorite days because we can laugh about, Jeff, look, we said we should take Illinois. Look at that collapse. Or did you watch that Saints game? We're going to have a lot of fun. The best part about it, too, as the show grows, because syndication is what me, Jeff, and SBR have always been about. We're going to slowly grow. Let's start in Chicago and hit another couple cities. And you guys are all on the ground floor of that as well. And the best part about this is, too, Jeff, the capabilities down the line. We're going to take phone calls. We're going to have a lot of fun on the stuff. It's big stuff there. When companies reach out because of how hard you work and think you give an honest effort in there and they think you can play to the masses, this is what Jeff and I have been waiting for. We put a lot of time in, and Jeff will tell you the same thing, where we've done podcasts where we didn't even know if a single person was listening to us years ago. And then you get a couple people, and then your Twitter following starts to grow. And then you go on to good companies like SBR, and SBR promotes you and says, you know what, guys? We trust you here. Let's put that flagship station out there. Let's get that Baker Mayfield flag and plant it across the country. So we're on our way. We're going to have a lot of fun. And a lot of the stuff comes to you guys in the chat box that listen to us every day, which is the reason why we can do this.
And again, like Donnie said, we're going to take calls. We're going to, down the road, everyone could call in. And that's where you guys come in and join the show, be regular callers. Listen, Donnie, like you said, we've waited a long time to do something like this, and this is just the beginning for us. I mean, we hope to take this to other areas. And we hope to be down in, Tempe, Arizona, and Oklahoma City, and all these different places. But Chicago is the third biggest city in America, Donnie. It's a huge market. It's a place where we can go be a part of something with other big names. We're not big names, but we can go with those big names, and we can hopefully build something because it's the first of our kind. There's no all gambling radio show in America that's daily. We're gonna have the first one. So we urge you. I saw a question. What do we do if we're not in Chicago? You can listen online like any radio station. Tune in, I believe, or iHeart, one of those. I'll get the details and we'll post it on Twitter. You can listen online at WCKG Chicago. They have a listen live stream.
We'll have the links out there when we go live. We'll retweet it. Also with the SBR team there, they're going to be reshooting it out through social media there. So retweet it, if you like it. But the best part about it, Jeff, go on the TuneIn application. You can get it anywhere you want in the gym. You don't have to be on YouTube for this. So we're going to have a lot of fun and push this thing forward and see where it goes for us.
Also, Donnie, I actually asked someone. I had someone tune in the other day, and they said the stream was terrific, like the one on your phone. Like it's just like any other radio station. So we'll get all the links out there, and it's going to be fun. It's every day, 3 o'clock Eastern, Monday through Friday. Fox Sports Chicago. We're on to talk gambling, so make sure you guys all check that out, and we'll post the info on Twitter. So today we'll get going, Donnie, with that.
AM and FM, Jeff. See that? Yeah.
Yeah.
You two guys are awful. You two guys, you know what I mean? Pfft, no way.
Yeah. Now we have a show in one of the biggest markets in America. So make sure you tune in. We expect all of you. And once we start taking calls, Donnie, we have intro music. We have a producer. We have everything. We're like we're like Howard Stern. How about that?
But we just can't act the fool though, since we're actually on an FCC guided channel, which me and Jeff can get after it and throw some F-bombs on this. We're gonna be a little bit more courteous there, but we'll
No,
still have the
no,
same edge we have.
no. I can't say anything bad. I can't say anything. I can't say there's 6 words I can't say. So I think all of you know what those are. But all right, guys, have a great day. Thanks for checking us out. We urge you to check us out today. We'll post all the links, and we appreciate all the kind words. Thanks for joining us here on SBRPicks.com. And all this is powered by SBR. They're powering the show. They're powering our show there. We thank them for that. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you Tuesday.